This is the 24 hours that changed everything in the Ivory Coast secret coup. Do you remember or know the African proverb that says, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion? Do you remember that proverb? And something big is really happened in the Ivory Coast, in the entire Sahel, and probably the entire Africa if care is not taken. Right? On the 21st of May 2025, there is an explosion on the social media. Explosion not of bomb, but explosion of people with a lot of things happening, that there is a coup attempt in Ivory Coast. People talking from the X, which is Twitter, which is formerly known as Twitter, to Facebook, to Instagram, to all the social media. But here is the interesting part. The mainstream media, the CNN, the BBC, they surprisingly kept quiet. Nothing was coming from them. Why do you think something like this, something as big as this is happening, and they are not saying anything? Now, this is exactly what we are about to discuss with you here. We will tell you what they don't want you to know. And we will show you how and when the incident starts about the recent coup in Ivory Coast, right? On the 19th to 20th of May, there is an outrage in social media. Everybody saying there is a coup in Ivory Coast. There's a military activities going on. They killed the Minister of Defense or whatever. A lot of things going on the social media. But have you ever had a situation where there is an instability in Africa and the mainstream media kept quiet? Have you ever had that? CNN, BBC kept quiet when there is an instability in Africa. Have you ever seen a situation where there is a security threat going on in Africa and the mainstream media are not saying anything? Have you ever found a situation where there is war, there is all sort of things happening in Africa, and the mainstream media kept quiet? Why do they keep quiet? This is because this is not the type of instability that they want. Yes, this is not the type of instability that they want, right? And the funny thing is, the Ivorians, which is the citizens of Ivory Coast, are celebrating for a potential coup. Have you ever had a situation where there is a coming or a coup coming up, and the people of that place celebrating? When people are praying and hoping that democracy should stay, but these people are celebrating there because there is a potential coup. Have you ever seen that? You see, this is because the coup that was coming up, it is coup that will potentially lead to the liberation of Ivory Coast from colonial masters. And it is a coup that the Western powers, their colonial masters, the France and the United States, doesn't want you to know about, because the coup, it is symbolic. It represents their biggest weakness, their biggest threat, their biggest fear, their biggest future fear that they don't want to happen in Africa. Why is it that it is representing their biggest fear? Because similar trend has been happening. It has happened in Burkina Faso, and instead of people to be sad, to be shouting for military leadership, that they otherwise call dictatorship, people are happy, right? Because Ibrahim Traore has brought a lot of change that has not been there during democracy. So people are happy. It has happened in Niger, and the same thing, people are happier. It has happened in Mali, the same thing. So this type of instability that is about to happen in Africa, they are not happy for it. That is why they kept silent. Now, this has an origin, and the origin is due to three secrets that happened, and I'm going to discuss it with you in a moment. The first one is there is a secret military deal between the United States and Ivory Coast. And the deal is for the United States to situate their, um, their military instruments, right? Their surveillance instruments in the borders of Mali and Burkina Faso, where they can be monitored in that is in Ivory Coast, where they can be able to monitor what is happening in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. So that deal is the biggest storm that causes what is happening right now. And there are history there for African youth to see. The United States promised Libya democracy, and they form what leads to the elimination of Gaddafi. Where is the democracy today in the Libya? How are they faring with the democracy? That is history number one. Sudan, the same thing. How are they faring? And a lot of histories like that. Even in Burkina Faso, it has happened before. Remember Thomas Sankara? It has happened. So, why do you think these people will want to help you? Why do you think so? So, that is the first one. The second one is the present president of Ivory Coast, which is Alassane Ouattara, has made a constitutional, the constitution says that after 2 terms, you step down, election somebody else become the president. But now he is saying that the constitution is not applicable to him. What does that mean? That means a lot, right? That means he is trying to violate the constitution. He's trying to keep it as a family business. And that is not all. The Minister of Defense, he make it that the person is from his family. So what does that mean? It means what? There is a lot going on behind the scene that they are planning. Okay, I have the Minister of Defense, I have the Minister of this, I have the Minister of this. Even if people try it, we are not going to allow, right? So that is the second storm. And the third one is the statement of Mr. Langley, which is the US Army, on Ibrahim Traore, when he said that Ibrahim Traore and the junta, they are just keeping the goals in order to protect themselves for their self instead of for the masses. And that is Ibrahim Traore, for God's sake. Anywhere you hear about Ibrahim Traore on the internet, on wherever, every African, it may not be every Africa, but let me say 98% of Africa are supporting him. So a statement that is coming from US Commander of African something something in Mr. Michael Langley, he is now accusing the junta of using the gold for themselves. And there have been meetings between the president of Ivory Coast and the US. So what do you think will happen? The citizens of Africa are not stupid, right? They are not stupid. They can connect the dots, and it is obvious, but that is not even the most suspecting thing. The most suspecting thing is that I think less than 3 weeks old, about 3 weeks thereabout, after that statement by Mr. Langley, Mr. Langley visited Ivory Coast and have a meeting with the president of Ivory Coast, that is Alassane Ouattara. That statement that Mr. Langley made, even his ancestral village in Senegal, they even condemned such statement, right? That such statement is coming from him and all that and all that. But that is not all. After 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so after the statement, he was seen in Ivory Coast meeting the president of Ivory Coast. It was said that they are discussing the potential deal, right? Military deal that they had. But that is like they are discussing the potential military threat to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. That is what it simply means. That is what it means. And just take a look at what is happening. The Ivorian people are thinking, the African youths are waking up. The Ivorian people are connecting the dot between Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso that that had a coup, and they are now operating on military regimes. They ejected, or they ensured that the France forces left their country, and development is now growing up. There is development in their country now. The resources of the country belongs to the citizens now, and the citizens are now doing a lot of investment within their country. The country is becoming better just by ejecting some forces that is acclaimed to come to help you, that people have perceived they have come to help. Now the Ivorian citizens are now thinking, okay, if these people are moving away from the West and they are progressing, how is it that we are making deal with them to come? How? What is happening? Why should we allow that? We are not ready for this. And that is exactly why most of them were celebrating the possibility of the coup coming, right? So why is it that they do not want you to know what is happening? It is very simple. The coup is designed to the coup is designed to liberate Africa, which is what the West doesn't want. Second, the coup represents their biggest weakness and nightmares. The coup represents freedom to Africa and Ivory Coast and other parts of the world, Africans, which is what they do not want. Just imagine a situation where the Nigerian oil, right, is being used in Africa. Nigeria supply Africa oil. Cobalt come from Cote d'Ivoire. Burkina Faso and other places supply us gold in Africa, and all Africans interlinked. What do you think will happen? Do you think there will be freedom or not? Do you think people will now realize that, oh, we don't really need these people? We can actually be on our own, and that is going to be the first and the last of anything that is going to be the final step of dependency on the West, because by then African youth will have understood that we can actually do this by our own. That statement of Mr. Langley, what he is trying to say is that Africans are not matured enough to handle their own resources. That is what it simply means, and it's an insult on people that are educated, people that are smart. Africans are smart, educated, right? So, what is now the real coup that is happening in Ivory Coast? There is a real coup going on in Ivory Coast, but not just in Ivory Coast. The coup taking place is in the mental framework of the Africans, right? The Africans are now waking up. The Africans now understood that yes, we can do it. Yes, we have been lied to. Yes, the story, the history that they presented to us is not complete. Yes, we want to be on our own. Yes, we want to do it on our own way. That is the real coup that is happening from Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Niger, Nigeria, Ghana, and all over Africa. We hope this will bring us final freedom. We hope this is going to ring a bell in the minds of some of our leaders to understand that we need liberation from the Western world, not necessarily through coup, not necessary, right? Even with democracy, we can do it, and that is even I think that is even better with democracy, right? So let's all see in the comment section. What do you think? What do you think is happening, and how do you think this is going to shape the future of Africa?